Very good evening, dear student. Today we are going to discuss about day 6 polity model answer. Dear student, let me give a small introduction about myself. I have given 5 mains and interview in CSE 2022. Over a period of time, I have gained a lot of insight regarding the answer writing, and I have also committed a lot of mistake during my preparation. So I am putting all my experience over these years to help you to guide and make you a better answer writing. Okay, and let me discuss about this answer writing program. We have started this answer writing program from 1st of July. It will continue till mid February. It will cover your entire GS1, GS2, GS3, GS4 and SA, so that it will help you to holistically cover your entire answer writing program. It will help you to master in the answer writing. So we have already discussed day 1, day 2, day 3, day 5 model answer. Now we are going to discuss about day 3 polity model answer. Okay. The question is discuss the utility of DPSP in Indian Constitution and also explain how the conflict between DPSP and fundamental right led to the evolution of principle of harmonious balance between the two. Okay. First thing should be first you need to understand the core demand of the question. So what is the core demand of the question? Question is asking the discuss the utility of the DPSP in the Indian Constitution. So first you need to explain the utility of DPSP. So you need to first discuss the utility of DPSP, and second part of your answer you need to discuss also explain how the conflict between DPSP and fundamental right led to the evolution of principle of harmonious balance between two. So in second part of your answer you need to discuss how ever since our constitution being implemented we have seen that there is always a conflict between fundamental right on the one hand and DPSP on the other hand, because fundamental right give negative power or negative restrict the power of the state, but the DPSP gave the positive obligation responsibility for the states to implement the certain things. So because of that there is always a conflict between the fundamental right and DPSP. Because of that ultimately led to the evolution of harmonious balance between these two in Minerva Mill case. Okay, we'll see all these things. And dear student, I have already discussed with you how to write a very good answer in the first introduction sessions. I have discussed that in a good answer you need to have a good introduction, then body, then conclusion. In body you need to sometime give in support of your argument, against the argument you need to provide good data, good Supreme Court judgment, good article, then graph, figure, trends to make your answer more interactive, more easy to understand, and that will convert into very good marks. So if you have not watched that video, please watch that video. After that you can come back and watch this video. Okay, let's discuss about the introduction. In this introduction you can write like DPSP directive principle of state policy are principle enshrined in the part 3 of the constitutions. Part 4 of the constitutions. So questions to you, please write in the comment box what is in the part 3 of the constitutions. So what contain in the part 3 of the constitution, you can comment on the comment box. Okay, from article 36 to 51 of Indian Constitution, these principles aim to create a socio-economical framework that lead to an equitable society. Okay, the main goal of the DPSP is to bring about social equality. That means equality to the women, equality to the downtrodden like scheduled caste, scheduled tribe. Then economic equality means all section of the society should have equal opportunity in employment, equal pay for equal work. Okay, there should be an adequate employment opportunity, reduction of the concentration of the wealth. These are principle help in bringing about socio-economical equality. Okay, the next is about although not justifiable, DPSP play a crucial role in governance and policy making in India. Okay, you need to discuss DPSP, unlike the fundamental right, though non-justifiable in nature, but still play important role in the governance of the country and policy making in the country. We will discuss how. Okay, then as for the demand of the question, first it is asking the utility of DPSP. Utility means what are the need, what are the benefit और what are the essence. ज़रूरत क्या है डीपीएसपी का, हमारा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में क्या ज़रूरत है, वी नीड टू एक्सप्लेन दैट. ठीक है, फर्स्ट इज अबाउट द गाइडेंस फॉर गवर्नेंस. ठीक है, डीपीएसपी एक्ट लाइक ए कंपास, लाइक ए नेविगेशन टूल. ठीक है, DPSP act as a guide for the state in framing the law policies. They ensure that The legislative and executive action are directed towards creating welfare state. ठीक है, जस्ट आई एम गिविंग एन एग्जाम्पल, आपको पता होगा, यू माइट बी नोइंग आर्टिकल 48A टॉक्ड अबाउट protection of environment and forest. So we have passed Environmental Protection Act 1986. So this act is passed because it is mentioned in the DPSP. ठीक है, so because of the 48A mentioned that protection of environment and forest, we have enacted Environmental Protection Act 1986 to protect and preserve the environment. Second is about bringing economic and social democracy. DPSP strive to establish economic and social democracy, aim to reduce inequality in wealth and opportunity and promote social justice. ठीक है, just like I am giving an example, you might be knowing there is a tax called wealth tax. Government impose wealth tax on the super rich person, and the money that is going collected is invested in the poor people. So this is a way money is distributed from rich to poor and help in reduction of the inequality. So classic example is the wealth tax. Same is with the social equality. For example, recently Parliament passed the constitutional amendment to provide 33% reservations to women. So this is a legislation that is aimed to promote the social equality. Okay, the next is about moral obligations. Though the DPSP are not enforceable by law, DPSP impose a moral obligation on the state to apply this principle on the governance, thereby influencing creation of a just society. I am giving an example. Just look, Article 45 talked about providing assistance in certain case like disability, old age. So that create a moral obligation on the state to help the disabled people and people like in their old age, and people who are sick, people who are not getting employment. That create the obligation. Because of that, we have seen different government are running number of welfare schemes. Okay, then policy framework. How DPSP promote the policy framework? DPSP provide a framework for policy making in various areas such as education. You might be knowing about National Education Policy 2020. This is implemented because it is clearly mentioned in the DPSP. Promotion of education, even education, I think it is mentioned in the fundamental right. You can skip that. Instead of that, you can write about health also. National Health Policy 2017, because in Article 47 it is talked about, Article 47 is talked about improving health and nutrition of the people. So because of that, the National Health Policy is promoted to ensure that welfare, health and welfare of all. Then you might be knowing about for labor welfare we have number of schemes. For example, Atal Pension Bima Yojana, then Jivan Jyoti Bima Yojana. ठीक है, social welfare guiding the state towards achieving the goal of welfare state. Then supplementing to the fundamental right. Supplementing, DPSP supplement to the fundamental right. Why DPSP? While the fundamental right ensure the political democracy, DPSP aims to ensure socio-economic democracy, thereby complementing each other to realize a constitutional version of justice, liberty, equality and fraternity. I am giving an example. देखो, though our constitution provide political equality, for example, equal right to vote in election, but in real life you might be knowing that in panchayat level, though we are providing reservations to the women in panchayat level, but still it is the husband of the woman, that is called panchpati, who is taking the decision regarding his wife. ठीक है, so because of that the political democracy is not achieved. But if we are going to implement, or it give a real sense or real motivation for the state to ensure that not only the political justice but also the socio and economical justice. That means we should ensure that women, tribal people, then people from the scheduled caste, backward section, transgender, all should take part in the political process. They should enjoy all their right equally. Okay, then next part we need to discuss about conflicting between DPSP and fundamental right and how it led to the evolution of harmonious balance. So you need to discuss like early conflict. In initial year after independence, several conflict between DPSP and fundamental rights. Fundamental rights are enforceable by the courts while DPSP are not. This leads to the legal tussle when law enacted to implement DPSP are challenged for violation of the fundamental right. Classic example about right to property. देखो, on the one hand, right to property under Article 31. On the one hand, the fundamental right at that time was right to property. So it is the fundamental right to have property, to acquire property, dispose property. It's your fundamental right. But on the other hand, it is the responsibility of the state to reduce the inequality, because after independence some people have huge amount of land because of zamindari system, but this land are protected under their fundamental right. But on the other hand, DPSP talked about reducing inequality. So it is the responsibility of the state to take some excess land from the individual and distribute to the masses. So because of that, there is a conflicting between fundamental right and DPSP. Okay, that led to the different cases in the Supreme Court. Let's discuss. First is about the Champakam Dorai Rajan cases in 1951. The Supreme Court ruled that in case of conflict between the fundamental right would prevail over the DPSP. That means when there is a conflict between the fundamental right and on the other hand DPSP, it is the fundamental right which is prevail. मतलब fundamental right को ज़्यादा priority दिया जाएगा as compared to DPSP. This decision emphasized the supremacy of fundamental right. Okay. After that, Parliament enacted the constitutional amendment to nullify this judgment to implement the DPSP that might be violate the fundamental right. Then in Golaknath case, Supreme Court again says that the Supreme Court reiterated that Parliament could not amend the fundamental right to give effect to the DPSP, maintain a supremacy of fundamental right. ठीक है, फंडामेंटल राइट को पूरा का पूरा सुप्रीम का दर्जा दिया गया. एंड नेक्स्ट, to nullify that effect, Parliament enacted 25th Constitutional Amendment Act. To nullify this effect, Parliament enacted 25th Constitutional Amendment Act and 25th Constitutional Amendment Act. Then in Supreme Court in Keswanand Bharati case said that this landmark judgment introduced doctrine of basic structure of the Constitution. The court held that the Parliament could amend any part of the Constitution, but such amendment should not alter the basic structure. This provision, a balanced approach allowing changes in the fundamental right to implement the DPSP without compromising the core value. That means Parliament has the right to amend the Constitution, even fundamental right, provided that it should not violate the core, basic, essential feature of the Constitution. And what are these feature of essential feature, core feature? This feature was not clearly defined by the Supreme Court at that time, and gradually over a period of time in different verdict, Supreme Court time and again define what constitute basic feature of the Constitution. So next, to nullify that effect, Parliament enacted 24th Constitutional Amendment Act. Then again the case in Minerva Mill case, Supreme Court struck down the amendment under 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act that gave unbridled power to the Parliament to amend any part of the Constitution, asserting that a balance must be maintained between fundamental right and DPSP. The court stated that the achieving the goal of DPSP was essential, but it should not lead to a abrogation of fundamental right. Supreme Court said that the fundamental right and DPSP are like two wheels of a chariots. If you remove one wheel of chariots, your chariots will not run. For example, ये जैसे एक रथ है, रथ का दो पहिया है. आप अगर एक पहिया को निकाल दोगे तो रथ आगे नहीं बढ़ेगा, तो इसीलिए हमारा इंडिया भी आगे नहीं बढ़ेगा. So you need to have balance. Then because of that, there is a principle come out, it is called principle of harmonious balance. The judges over the judiciary over the year evolved this principle of harmonious construction to resolve the conflict between DPSP and fundamental right. This principle ensured that both set of provision are given equal importance and balance is struck without undermining either. Then you need to write a conclusion. The DPSP are integral to the Indian Constitution, guiding the state in policy making and aiming to create an equitable state. The principle of harmonious construction ensured that both fundamental right and DPSP coexist, contributing to the overall growth and development of nation. So you just sum it off in your conclusion and show that both balance the balance between both the DPSP and fundamental right are essential to ensure smooth growth of India. ठीक है, this is all about today model answer discussion, that is day 6. Dear student, if you have any doubt regarding any part of this question discussion, you can just put your doubt in the comment box, and you can also do subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss the entire series. And please join our channel, Telegram channel, for the model answer. You can also join our application also to submit the answer and participate in the daily answer writing. ठीक है, bye bye, we'll meet again, take care, bye bye.